Okay, so let's go to apprenticeships. Now, this is an OGT program typically associated with the skilled trades, derived from the mutual practice of having the young learn a trade from an experienced worker. So, technically, when we say apprenticeships, kay ba naman, no, the young ones are exposed to this experienced worker in order for him or her to learn the trade. So, mo na siya gitawag og apprenticeships. Internships, on the other hand, now, just as apprenticeships are a route to certain skilled blue-collar jobs, ang internship sad are a route to white-collar or managerial jobs in a variety of fields. Now, internships are opportunities, no, for a person um, to gain real-world job experience. So, ma-experience ninyo kung mabot na mo ang fourth year, di ba nasa inyong curriculum na dito yung OJT. So, mo na siya mag-intern mo, himo mong intern. You will be sent out to different business establishments within Maasin City. So, but because of what we are facing today, nga pandemic, mga fourth year karon, of course, they have a very limited exposure to these internships. So, hopefully, I hope na by your time, pwede na mo magawas. Okay. Off-the-job training, on the other hand, are those that are conducted outside the day-to-day work activities. Off-the-job training is also an effective alternative to OJT. Now, common examples of off-the-job training are formal courses, simulations, role-playing exercises in the classroom setting. No, so mana sila off-the-job training. No, even in a classroom setting, you are being exposed to what would it be like working in a particular scenario. Mo nang tagaan mo exercises, role play, case studies, sumona siya. Audio visual, or you are shown, pasalidaan mo dihag, o mo ni ang trabaho sa kuan. Mo na gitawag og off-the-job training. Okay? Now, let's go to the benefits and drawbacks of this OJT and off-the-job training. Now, OJT has both benefits and drawbacks. This type of training is obviously relevant to the job because the tasks confronted and learned are generated by the job itself. Very little that is learned in the context of OJT would not transfer directly to the job. OJT also spares the organization the expense of taking employees out of the work environment for training, and usually the cost of hiring outside trainers because company employees generally are capable of doing the training. So, muna siya benefit sa OJT training. On the negative side, OJT can prove quite costly to the organization in lost business when the OJT trainees cause customer frustrations. So, di ba, naghiskot ko before that OJTs should not, or no, mostly, kasagaran ang scenario na to dire, the OJT, are just support system. Dili good sila ang isabak on the real job because there might be a tendency of causing customer frustration. Kaya di pa man lagi na sila anak ka well versed with how the organization is working. So, mao na siya usa sa mga drawback sa OJT. Now, for the off the job Okay, so one advantage of the off the job na ta ha, humana ta sa on the job. So one advantage of the off the job training is that it gives employees extended periods of uninterrupted study. Now, another is that a classroom setting may be more conducive to learning and retention because it avoids the distractions and interruptions that commonly occur in an OJT environment. But the big disadvantage of off the job training is that what is learned may not transfer back to the job. After all, a classroom is not a workplace. So, murag dili kaayo nila ma-adapt what it would really be like in the workplace. And the situations simulated in the training may not closely match those encountered on the job. Small sad na dyan drawback sa off-the-job training. Okay, let's proceed to presentation options. Trainers use a variety of presentation techniques now in training sessions. The most common presentation techniques are slides and videotapes, teletraining, computers, simulations, virtual reality, classroom instruction, and of course, the role play. Slides and videotapes can be used either off the job or in a special media rooms in an organization's facility. Slides and videotapes provide consistent information and, if done well, can be interesting and thought-provoking. However, these presentation media do not allow trainees to ask questions or receive further explanation. So, mo po na yung downside, no, for presentation options nga ari mo sa slides and videotapes. Murag ingani ba sa atong um, class setting karon nga pre-recorded ang lecture, you cannot ask me questions. Kasi mo tubag. Ikaw ra pod. Ako pod kung maka-ask og question ninyo kay kasi mo tubag. Ako ra pod. So that's the downside. Okay? Teletraining is a training option that can be useful when trainees are dispersed across various physical locations. Now, satellites are used to beam live training broadcasts to employees at different locations. Now, it's more on like kanang mura dya og kanang bitong um, Zoom o kanang virtual class. Mag-inga na. Mo na gitawag og teletraining. No? So, of course, it would cost a lot, no? Kay, pilay bayad anang, maski kaning atong Zoom, kanang sa Zoom nga gibayaran sa CM, it really cost a lot. Unya, bati pag yun kayo kay, may lang og kamo on your side has a strong internet connection kay uninterrupted gyud ang live streaming. Pero kung dili, kay magwala-wala man, imagine ha, na college sumasin is paying a huge amount for this Zoom, Trove, or whatever it's called. Pero tanaw, ang hinaya pod ang internet, di raghapon magamit ang Zoom, kay magsige og loading. So, mo na siya. Okay? Computers. Computer-based training can range from the use of a CD-room to training over the internet. A number of companies are still exploring what type of computer-based training works best for them. However, web-based training is fast becoming the training method of choice. So you can use computer-based training. Simulations. Okay. Particularly effective in training are simulations, devices or situations that replicate job demands at an off-the-job site. The organizations often use simulation when the information to be mastered is complex. The equipment used on the job is expensive, and or the cost of a wrong decision is high. So that's why they sort of use simulations. Okay, say for example, you're training particular employees to use particular equipment that is worth billions. Unja, ug masadjok dihag pindot or masadjok dihag unsa pa na diha as wa na isa na goodbye billion nga worth of equipment. That's why they use simulations, no? Okay, virtual reality. So when you say virtual reality, now it uses a number of technologies to replicate the entire real life working environment rather than just several aspects of it, as do simulation. Virtual reality immerses participants in a computer generated virtual environment that changes according to head and body movement. Within these three-dimensional environments, a user can interact with and manipulate objects in real time. So murag kaning virtual reality dili gid ni uso sa Pilipinas, no? Ano man mo ta ka-afford. Virtual reality kay naara gid ni sa mga movie kanang mo adto taog Cebu naa sa nasa man ang hotel na dihay 3D cinema kana bang magtaod bug murag Google sa na murag goggles si tawag ana, and then it feels like you are among or you are inside the movie yourself. So mo na virtual reality. So in other parts of the globe, no, in other countries, especially those that are um, highly rich countries, usa na sa ilang a way of training their employees. They put in virtual reality, no? Ilan ang kuan ang ilang mga employees. Classroom instructions and role play. Lihiro na tani kay ug na face to face pa daghan ang tutang mga role play karon about ani, no? Although it is I don't view classroom instruction and role play as boring, but murag mo dyan siya ang natag, no? Boring siya. But classroom instruction can be exciting if other presentation techniques are integrated with the lecture. So, lihiron ta aning classroom role play and instruction. Now, this also includes case analysis, no? Enjoy present, pareha sa TQM that you're going to present, you're going to make your own company. So, that's what we call role playing and classroom instruction. Okay, let's move to types of training. Now, we focus here on the types of training that are commonly used in today's organizations. We have the skills training, retraining, cross-functional training, team training, creativity training, literacy training, diversity training, crisis, ethics, and customer service. Now, when we say, di pa di ay, excited na ka ma'am. So, of course, kibaran ta ani unsa ning skills training. Kadtong i-found out nimo what are the skills. So to is a skills. Ang S. What does S stands for? Okay, and the A. Okay, so man diha. So mostly organizations try to train more on skills. Kay ang kuan ma-learn na magud ng uban, di ba? So ang skills ang pinakamurag bugat siya nga area of the key is A. Kay it needs further training gyud. Di naman exama da og basa-basa ra for comprehension. It takes time to be well versed on that particular skills. Retraining. What is retraining? So when you say retraining is a subset of skills training. Retraining gives employees the skills they need to keep pace with the job's changing environment. For example, however garment workers may be at a traditional skill such as sewing, they will need retraining when the company invests in a computerized sewing equipment. So say for example, kanang factory sa mga sanina or t-shirt or whatever it is. So bisan pa og kanang master na kayo na mutahi imong mga tao, but if you invest in a new equipment, you have to retrain these people how to use this new equipment. Ano gitawag og retraining. Okay? Cross-functional training. Traditionally, organizations have developed specialized work functions and detailed job descriptions. However, today's organizations are emphasizing versatile rather than specialization. Uso na biaron ang multitasking rather than the specialization. So, when we say cross-functional training, it teaches the employees to perform operations in areas other than their assigned job. Cross training offers a value, no, to employers because it makes current workers more versatile, and this flexibility can be more efficient than hiring new workers. For example, one particular employee is being trained, no, for um, finance work or marketing work. So by the time that a new worker is needed in the finance, kay naa sila extra job didto nga kinahanglang home noon, so pwede ra, no, nga mo pull out ka atong gitrain nimo from the marketing department, i-pull out nimo or tagaan nimo siya ana nga task, but of course with honorarium. Do not forget, ayaw i-thank you. Do not ever thank you the work or the efforts of your employee. Grabe kay, kuan na bitaw na, kanang gisweldohan na bitaw na siya. Yes, gisweldohan na siya to do the job in the marketing department. But you're giving him or her a new tasks. So you have to pay for that. Mas makatipid ang organization kung hatag ka honorarium rather than hiring a new employee to do that job. Diba? Kay ug mo hire kag new employee mo, hatag na pud ka og benefits. Kadto mga law mandated nga mga benefits. So mo gasto na sad ka kaysa ihatag na nimo nga trabaho for those employees that are there who will nga kabaoan na nga trabaho because you train them and then just give particular honorarium. Okay. Team training. Now, teams have become common fixtures in the organization, with many operations involving empowered team of workers. Team structures can be effective, but team level issues such as communication, trust can be stumbling blocks, no, and stop teams from reaching their full potential. Thus, we just as individuals, team can be in need of training so that it will be kanang more on collaborative works, no. So kinahanglan nimo sila train as team itself, no, mana siya. Creativity. So anong kinahanglan pamtag creativity training? Creativity training is based on the assumption that creativity can be learned, no? So, dili ra pud siya, although some people are gifted with this particular creativity, but there is this particular assumption that it could be learned. Now, there are several approaches to teaching creativity, all of which attempt to help people solve problems in a new ways, no? One common approach is the use of course, brainstorming, in which participants are given the opportunity to generate ideas as well as they can come up with without fear of judgment. So, need na nimo sila i-train, no? Creatively, into creating creative ideas. so that they can solve problems in different or in a new ways that are still effective.